Hello and welcome to ETA 56 Days Tools for an Empowered Mindset. We are on 39 days to go, and today we are talking about being in good company, deliberately choosing whom you spend time with. So I'm sure you've heard that the individuals you interact with predominantly have quite a bit of an impact on you, on your mindset, on your beliefs, and ultimately how your life is turning out. Because, remember, you create your own reality in every moment with every thought. So if you're hanging around people who annoy you or cause you worry or fear or anxiety, that's the vibration that's active and therefore currently shaping your reality. So think about it. Who do you spend time with throughout your day? For example, if you hang around people who keep telling you how broke they are, how much in debt they are, how expensive everything is, how they can't ever catch up with bills, guess which mindset you're hanging around in for that time period. And maybe you're even buying into their beliefs. A belief is really only a thought that you keep thinking or something that you just keep hearing over and over and over again. And of course, if you're hearing it from one person or two people, it's active in your vibration, which means you're drawing it in even more. So before you know it, you have 3, 4, 5 people who are saying the same things like, oh man, I'm just so behind, can't catch up, blah, blah, blah. So now think of how different would it be to hang around people who have a positive attitude towards life, trusting that source or the universe always provides and that things always do work out for them in the long run. Take inventory. That was really the goal for today, or the tool for today is take inventory. Who do you spend most of your time with, during the week, at home, at the office, over the weekend? Are you letting a friend, treat you as a sounding board? Do you have a conversation when do you have conversations where you just feel drained afterwards? Kind of think about it, because if that's what you do, day after day, night after night, or there's just a friend who always calls you, on such and such day just to complain to you for an hour, that might not be serving you very well. So then again, the goal isn't either to, shy away from every difficult conversation, because it's important to have those sometimes. I'm talking more about like the constant naggers in your life. And even then, it's not always easy to just, spend less time with them or scratch them out of your life completely, especially, let's say, if they're family. But you can have a conversation about it. The biggest thing is to be aware of it. Who are those people that are causing me what kind of emotion? Why do I react to them in that way? Are they just constantly negative? Is there some way for me to spend less time with that person? Or is there a better way for me to catch them? Maybe Friday afternoon, after they just had a really long week at work, might not be as favorable of a time as Sunday morning, when they had a little bit of downtime to kind of digest everything that happened and they're in a more relaxed mood. So those are definitely things to think about. And I was just listening to actually a really great YouTube video by Brendan Burchard called How to Deal with Negative People. And his answer might just surprise you. It definitely surprised me in, a great way of how to approach negative people, especially maybe people that you don't know so well, like people at work, who are just constantly spouting off and just causing everybody else's mood to kind of go down. It's really interesting the way that he tells you to kind of approach them in almost a way of, hey, can you help me with something? Rather than saying, hey, you should quit being such a, whatever word you want to insert here. Really the most important part is that you stay positive. And, ultimately you'll be able to do that even when others around you are negative. Remember Abraham Hicks, they always say no one else's thoughts or words can create in your reality. But What you think about their words or thoughts or actions does create your reality. So, and it's hard, it's hard to not have a thought, to not have an opinion, to not have some kind of feeling when someone else is around you and you're hearing it. But it's really only your thoughts and what you do with it that will ultimately create in your reality. So that's always good to know. The control is in your hands, as always. And isn't it, empowering and uplifting and just plain awesome to be around fantastic people, to be around an individual who is upbeat and full of energy and full of passion and love for life. It kind of just rubs off on you, like wanting to hang out with a particular friend because you know that he or she always gets you in a great mood. Those people are so wonderful to have around in your life, and so often we don't make time for it because we're so busy, and yet it's so important. The great ones like, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, talk about mastermind groups, groups of individuals, gathering together who have similar mindset, and they help to uplift and empower and educate each other. Everyone has something positive and valuable to contribute. And I want you to also think about, is there anyone you look up to? Anyone who you think would positively influence you if you spend more time around him or her? So think about it and make the time for it. The company that you keep on a daily and weekly basis is important to your growth and, most importantly, to your happiness. And, I totally get it that we don't always have the option to hang around individuals who have accomplished what we are currently pursuing, or might not even have, the current opportunity to hang around more positive people. But guess what? You can listen to as many podcasts and YouTube videos and audiobooks as you want each and every day. While you're driving, while you're preparing dinner, while you're doing dishes or getting ready in the morning, that's really one of my favorite times to just kind of get my vibes up, to just kind of set my day. Listen to something that uplifts and empowers you, and that time counts. I heard someone mention that, and I thought, wow, that's, how awesome is that? Because I'm actually surrounding myself with my mentors, because I was always thinking, I have some opportunities to have masterminds, probably of what I'm not even really utilizing as much as I could. But, people who are really in my field and who are doing the kind of things that I want to be doing, I don't necessarily have the opportunity to just be around them for a big part of the day and just kind of soak up their attitude and their mental, what's it called? Their mindset and how they approach life and how they approach their business. And yet, just to hear that idea of, well, if you can't, physically surround yourself with these people to be in the same room or to shadow them for, their work all day, which I would love to do with some of my mentors. But at least, if you think about the big ones, like for me, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Robert Holden, Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, they have such an extensive collection and body of work that you can spend, hours every day getting your fill on keeping the best company. And I have noticed it with myself when there's one particular speaker that I listen to a lot throughout the day or several days. I will start to hear their voice in my head. So when I'm facing some kind of challenge or some kind of hiccup or something, anything, when I'm facing that, I kind of hear their words in my head in their tone of voice saying, this is what they would do. This is how they would approach it. And so it really works. Their mindset, their attitude starts to really influence you and your thoughts and your thought process and your viewpoint. And that's something that I would really love to have some feedback on. Is that something that you've noticed? Have you I know I do it a lot with Abraham Hicks. If I'm just like straight days listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks, I will just hear their tone of voice. I will hear their voice in my head, telling me different things, or just like, random quotes that they would say just come to me at the perfect time. It's really, really neat how you can really program your mind to reach for these things. And then, something else I wanted to mention here, and really this day 39 tool originated in my head as a tool of reminding myself how many people are currently, present in my life. Today is actually my birthday, and my little sister's throwing me a baby shower. So there are two big events today with lots of people. And most of my family is actually in Germany, where I was born, and the rest of my family here in the US actually lives 5 hours away. So for my birthday and my baby shower, I invited friends, and actually a lot of my clients whom I have known for, 8+ years. I have gone through, life stages that they've gone through, watching their kids grow up, or working with them through their pregnancy, or there's just so many like life stages. I've watched them take on a new job. I've heard of amazing vacations that they have. So it's kind of, we shared, the last 8 years of our lives. And it was so incredible and so overwhelming, with just the amount of well wishes and gifts and love that was coming my way, and the way of this little boy that's growing inside me. It was just amazing. I was just blown away. And it was just so good to feel that, oh my gosh, I have such an extensive network that I really haven't reached out to in years. And it's just so amazing to know that these people they're right here, they're right here offering their help and their support and their love. It's really, really great. And so I really encourage you to make a list of everyone who's currently in your life, everyone who you've had a great connection with and maybe haven't reached out to in a while. Maybe even write, a quick sentence next to each person mentioning their positive attributes and their greatest skills, or what you love and appreciate so much about them. And also, if they have gone through a rather difficult life event like a health challenge or a divorce, death of a loved one, write that down. It will help you to remember whom you can reach out to if you ever face a similar challenge. So for example, for my upcoming challenge, labor and giving birth, and even beyond that, the first few weeks of motherhood, rebalancing my emotions and my hormones, getting the hang of being a mom, I sat down and I made a list of people in my life I could reach out to, if I'm having a tough day. You might think, it's silly, but when you're in the midst of a funk or sadness or depression or overwhelm, your brain can't reach for that information. So write it down. It's like you will just plain forget that there's somebody that you can reach out to. And I proved that to myself the other day, and I haven't even been under the stress of labor or being a new mom, just, being a soon to be mom. But I was hiking with my hiking buddy the other day, and he just so happens to be sort of a spiritual teacher for me as well. One of actually, a handful of people in my life who just really dives deeply into spirituality and sees life much differently than a lot of other people do. And it just dawned on me in that moment. I was like, man, I remember him offering me to call him anytime that I'm having a tough time or just need to talk. It's like, how had I forgotten about that? Was it just because he's a single guy, doesn't have kids, and has no idea about, labor or the emotions afterwards? And which is all true. But then again, emotions are emotions, no matter what specific challenge you're facing. And he is, great just as as somebody who can remind me that I am an expanded being. I am so much more than just this physical body. I am connected to my higher being who in every moment is guiding me. And, just to have someone tell you these things when you have, temporarily forgotten and just like gotten swept up in a wave of emotion, it's truly priceless. And maybe that's just exactly what I need in that moment. So I definitely put him down on my list of like people to reach out to if I'm having a tough time. So make a list, think of the wonderful connections that you have made in your life. And even if someone has passed and left this physical earth, doesn't mean that they're not around, right here with you, able to assist you, guide you, comfort you in any moment. You can still remember their energy. You can remember their attitude towards life. You can find strength in the words that they used to say and how they used to live their life. And of course, beyond that, depending on what you believe in, really tune in with them right now, in their expanded being, in their all love presence, and they just have so much wisdom and guidance to give you. But anyway, so much for today. 39 days to go. Choosing your company wisely and remembering all the wonderful individuals who are in your life. Thank you so much for listening, and I will chat with you tomorrow on ETA 56 Days.